In other news, in a statement read by a UN spokesperson, the Secretary General reiterated his deep concern about the developments in Myanmar, adding that the most recent reports of violence and killings by security forces are appalling. Here's UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric.
Turning to Myanmar, I can tell you that the Secretary General reiterates his deep concern about the developments in that country. The most recent reports of violence and killings by security forces are appalling. The Security Council has clearly called for a stop to the violence and invited the parties to pursue dialogue and reconciliation. The Secretary General encourages all member states to use their influence to impress on the parties the need to stop this escalation and to take steps that will facilitate the return to civilian rule. He emphasizes that the key role that the region can and must play in advising the national actors to take steps towards the return of peace and stability in Myanmar. The United Nations Special Envoy Christina Schreiner-Bergener is currently in the region, where she is meeting with key interlocutors in order to promote an effective international response based on a unified regional effort. She remains ready to visit Myanmar at the earliest opportunity. From Myanmar, our colleagues there said they are appalled by the violence since February, in which some 93 protesters were reportedly killed, many of them in the city of Bago. The UN team there says, the UN team in Myanmar says it is particularly concerned over reports of the use of heavy artillery against protesters. The UN Human Rights Office says that as of today, credible reports show at least 707 people having been killed since the military seized control of the government more than 2 months ago. It is believed this may be significantly higher. Since February 1st, thousands of people have been injured, and many of them seriously.
The country has been rocked by daily protests since the military seized power on February 1, and the authorities have launched a bloody crackdown on dissent, with hundreds killed and more than 2,500 arrested. State media reported Friday that 19 people have been sentenced to death for robbery and murder by a military court, with 17 of them tried in absentia. They were arrested in Yangon's North Okalapa Township, one of 6 areas in the commercial hub currently under martial law, meaning anybody arrested there is tried by a military tribunal. The 6 townships are home to about 2 million people, more than a quarter of Yangon's sprawling population. While Myanmar has long had the death penalty in its penal code, the country has not carried out any execution in over 30 years, said Phil Robertson, Deputy Director of the Asia Division for Human Rights Watch. He added, trying cases in a military court means there can be no appeals and there are no guarantees of a free and fair trial in any way, shape, or form. The sentences could be a tactic to force protesters off the streets and back to work, he said, as a nationwide boycott has brought much of Myanmar's economy to a halt.